Your bank account hacked, your identity stolen, your private chats exposed to the world, and it all started with just one click.
Have you ever been in a battlefield you've never seen? A cyber war, a digital war zone where you're one click away from cyber criminals, from, fake emails to a full data breach. No one is safe until you are aware. Today, we dive into the shadows of cybercrime and cybersecurity. We look at tech hackers, scammers, and more importantly, we look at how you, the individuals, you, the viewers, we, the individuals, can stay a step ahead of cyber attack. Welcome to 360 Youth Dialogue, where we talk, deliberate, and remedy on issues affecting the youth. My name is Juliet Onra. Today we have here Joshua Oweni. He's a cybersecurity analyst and passionate about digital sensitive data and protecting, the cyber space. Exactly.
Yeah,
You're welcome, Joshua.
thank you. Pleased to be here.
So good to have you in our studio today. So before we delve right in, we have like an icebreaker question. And what was the first tech gadget or device you used?
Well, I think that was my phone,
Okay.
right? My mobile phone, because I think that's like the first and easiest gadget anyone could acquire, especially when you just need something to um, use and connect to the internet, people far and wide. I think it's just the easiest gadget you can.
So how long did you use your device? How long did you use it?
Well, I think I've been using my device for a very long time now. Like, actually, I can't state the exact time frame I've been using but yes, I've been using it for quite a while. And then when I delved into tech, I had to, add other devices to it,
Oh,
like
interesting.
my tablets, my laptop, and everything. So I think the usefulness of mobile devices or other devices cannot be like overemphasized. It's something we actually need, and every day this is what we use for our basic day-to-day living. So yeah, like I said, the usefulness cannot be overemphasized, and we actually need them. So yeah.
Okay, let's go right into cyber crime and cyber security. What are the types of cybercrime? What would you define as cybercrime and then the types of cybercrime?
Well, when we say cybercrime, I think everyone or anyone will have an idea. Cyber and crime, you understand? So basically, cybercrime is using the internet or our mobile our mobile devices or our laptops to all our personal computers for the aid of crime. Yeah, so basically, cybercrime actually means or entails the use of our devices for crime. And there are a lot of cyber crimes, and it evolves every day. Yeah,
Interesting.
it evolves every day. We have the first and most common crime at large today is the social engineering. Social engineering actually means or can be explained or can be put as the process by which a malicious attacker or a threat actor
Okay.
deceive an individual to reveal sensitive informations about themselves. And there are
Okay.
types of social engineering. We have the phishing scams. We have phishing scams, which is actually the use of the voice or a call to try to deceive someone to reveal sensitive information. We have hacking, of course, but
Okay.
there are a lot of them, a lot. But as like I said, the most common and the one I think everybody should know about is the social engineering tactics that these malicious actors tend to use like every time to deceive users and people to collect sensitive data about themselves.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
This you call it phishing or something, phishing
Yeah,
scam, yeah?
yeah, fishing.
This is usually what we tag Yahoo Yahoo. This
Yes.
is the normal Yahoo Yahoo scam where they call you and all that. So now we've talked about crime, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about cybersecurity. What does cybersecurity really entail? Because for me, it's like for gurus like you, can I really understand what cybersecurity entail? What would you define as cybersecurity? What does it entail in general?
Well, basically, I would say cybersecurity um, is actually the process by which we secure our digital assets online.
Okay.
You know, cyber security, securing your securing the cyberspace, securing networks, securing our assets, digital assets,
Okay.
basically. Yeah. So it's cybersecurity is a very large, topic. It is a very large topic that you know could not be covered on a single ground. I mean, there are a lot of professions relating to cybersecurity. We have um, we have the red teamers, that's the ethical hackers. We
Okay.
have the blue teamers, which are the incident response team. The red teamers actually simulate attacks, right?
Okay.
Like they I mean, with the consent of an organization, they simulate attacks to uncover vulnerabilities in an organization's system or network,
Okay.
right? So by uncovering these vulnerabilities, the organization tends to know how to beef up their security posture.
Mm.
You understand? Then the blue teamers, they act as the like first line of defense against cyber attacks.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to an organization, because when there is an attack, it's the blue teamers that first of all respond to these incidents and try to contain and mitigate the risk.
Okay.
Yeah,
All that I understood was the red teamers and the blue teamers.
yeah.
So who are these red teamers and who are the blue teamers? How can I be a red teamer or blue teamer? How do I get involved in the red and blue team?
The red teamers are known as the ethical hackers,
Okay.
right? What they do basically is to uncover vulnerabilities um, in an organization's assets or network or
Okay.
system.
Okay, so it's not like a team, it's just what they do.
Yeah, it's what they do basically.
Oh,
Yeah,
I get. I mean, I'm coming into the cyberspace now.
yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Taking us further, let's talk more about cybersecurity. How can I, as an individual, when it comes to cybersecurity and cybercrime, the common things we can do, the common thing I should know as an individual with my mobile phone, with my laptop or desktop, what can I do to protect myself from like the ethical red team and blue team and whatever you've called them?
Well, um, the ethical hackers are actually the good hackers.
Oh, the ethical hackers are the good
Yes,
hackers.
the
Okay.
ethical hackers. They are unethical hackers. Those type of hackers are the bad ones. They tend to use whatever they find for their own selfish use.
Okay.
Yeah, but the ethical hackers, they don't just hack an organization. They have to like consent. Like they have to be a disclosure agreement signed. I mean, non-disclosure agreement signed by the um, by the ethical hacker, presented by the organization, so that whatever he finds remain in confidentiality between him and the
Oh,
organizations.
okay.
Right, back to your question. I think the basic way any individual can secure themselves from cyber attacks is awareness. Like, be aware and um, these because these attacks are something you can spot from a mile away, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, you have to make sure your passwords are, you know, your passwords are strong, because there's actually a policy for passwords, right? Your passwords are supposed to be 8 characters long.
Okay.
It has to contain an uppercase.
Mm-hmm.
It has to contain an uppercase, a character, and then numbers, right? And if your passwords are 8 characters long, it will take an hacker, or it will take a hacker, like it will take a hacker 160 years to
Are you
actually
serious?
yes, to actually get through to your password. So I don't think anyone has that patience to wait 160 years just to gain, you know, um, the
Password
password
of
or
one user.
exactly of one user. So, but if your passwords are weak, it takes a hacker just seconds. I mean, there's a way, or there's a term known as brute force attack. It's actually a kind of technology that, you know, hackers use to guess the passwords of an individual. So if your password is weak, it will take them less than a second. But um, if it's 8 characters long and it follows, you know, the password policy, it takes more than 100 years for them to want to crack that. And I think that they don't have that patience, right? So first of all, the first step, I think, make your passwords strong, and it should follow the password policies. And then other ways we can secure ourselves online is actually to avoid clicking on malicious links. You know, you go on the internet sometimes, and then you see links about how you could win.
Oh yes, there's this thing they say, spin and win.
Spin and win.
Oh.
Yeah, how you could win an iPhone without actually buying
Each.
it. Yeah, how you could win a car, or
Yes.
how you could win. Those are actually, you know, traps. Those links are actually traps, and when you click on them, they redirect you to a platform where you think it's genuinely based on what you are saying, which is trying to win an iPhone or a car or whatever it might be. And then you start imputing your informations, like your name, your phone number, your address, whatever they ask of you, to you. I mean, to the individual, he or she is actually thinking that you know, he's on the way towards winning an iPhone or
Yes.
something. But then these attackers are just getting his or her information for their own selfish use. So we should avoid clicking phishing links or suspicious links like that. But people will actually not just know, like there are a lot of
Yeah,
people who are actually
exactly.
not aware. So I think, like I usually say, awareness is like the first line of defense towards cyber attacks. So I think everyone needs to be like aware of these basic things we can do to, you know, secure our internet presence.
So this links now that you've mentioned, how, I don't know, because I know I've fallen victim for most of them, because
Yeah.
they direct you and then redirect you and then redirect you, and
Yeah.
sometimes they also say send to 5 people on your WhatsApp and all that. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, you find that they hack your WhatsApp,
Yes.
and then something of that nature.
Yeah.
That brings me, and then you said something very, very, very important. You said, now let's come back to the red and blue team.
Yeah.
I don't know why my mind is there. But you know, IT now is like a two-edged sword, where people now, this, you said the ethical hackers,
Yeah.
are the good ones, are the good guys.
Yeah.
Now we have the good guys and we have the bad guys.
Yeah.
There is this gap between the good and the bad guys. How can we, I mean, individuals, the government, and every other person, how can we know who is the good person, who is the bad person, and how can the gap be filled?
When we say ethical, it the word ethical actually means you know, something that's like right to do, that you are supposed to do, that's okay in the society, right? So actually being an ethical hacker, it means you're being a hacker so that you could, you know, being an ethical hacker, you have to think like the bad ones, which are the unethical hackers, right?
Okay.
You have to like what's their next line of attack, how would they approach, and everything. So with that in mind, you can actually simulate these attacks, and then when a vulnerability is discovered, you could help the organization, fix this by mitigating it and applying or implementing security controls. You understand? And then the unethical hackers, they just want to hack for for their selfish
Pleasure.
reasons. So I think one way this gap could be breached is actually I would say awareness.
Back to
Back to
awareness.
awareness,
Awareness is like
exactly, awareness is like the key when it comes to cybersecurity. Awareness is like the key, because not everyone, it's no, you don't have to be like technically involved to be involved in
yeah,
cybersecurity,
yeah.
right? Everybody plays a part, the governments, individuals, organizations. Yeah, so you don't have to actually be directly technically involved,
Inclined.
yeah, to be involved in cybersecurity, right? So like I said, one of the ways this gap can be bridged, can be managed is through awareness, education. Young people, we tend to always use social media these days, and people could actually listen to who they trust. Like, if I should ask you, I think you have one or two
Obviously, role models we are looking up to on the
exactly
social
on
media
the social
space.
media space. Yeah. So if these people actually talk about cybersecurity and try to create an awareness or a campaign about cybersecurity, I think people will listen to them, and this would be like a way for everybody to stay informed, like even from the layman, I mean someone on the street. Everyone could, because I think everyone has an access to a mobile device right now. So I think using social media platforms for campaigns and awareness on cybersecurity and ways to stay secure online would actually go a long way to making everyone on the cyberspace, stay informed about how they could, secure themselves, spot phishing attacks, vishing attacks, and the likes. Yeah.
So you already brought me to the social media space now.
Yeah.
I want to ask you now, how has social media played a role in, cybersecurity, cybercrime at large? Because we see how cybercrime is being gloried on social media. Like Yahoo boys are out there flaunting their cars and all that, and people would really not want to go into cybersecurity as an ethical hacker. They would rather want to use it. How how would I want to use my skill and then get paid and then get like a cut of the payments, rather than use it for my selfish interest and get the whole money? So now, how has social media played a part in glorifying cybercrime?
Yeah, I think the social media plays a vital role in glorifying cybercrime. I mean, when you go on the internet, you see a lot of people flaunting wealth and all other acquisitions they might be having, and then actually there are people who legitimately get their wealth, right? But then there are also people who get it through crime. And I think everyone wants to pose as successful online, you understand? So anyone who isn't ethical would easily be swayed by all of these posts and everything, and they will want to they would actually think crime is the easiest way to get money, because why? There are actually no opportunities for creative minds in Nigeria. Yeah.
Very true.
So when a smart young individual goes online and sees all of this, and the idea already going on in Nigeria, the Yahoo Yahoo thing and everything, a young Nigerian would actually think I don't think, with everything going on in the country, I don't think I could get this legitimately. I have to be into crime to get it. And yeah, social media is actually playing a very big role in trying to influence Nigerians and the youths to involve in cybercrime. But I think there is a way. There could be a turn.
Okay.
Um, we could also use social media to project cybersecurity and make people know that these cyber or these technical skills you have can also be put to good use, right? Because the way people actually use these technical skills for bad things, you can also use it for good things, right? So while these people project whatever they are projecting on social media, we could also project the good side of it on social media to encourage young talents to put their technical skills to good use.
You already answered the next question. How can we redirect young people from that mindset of cybercrime, cyber, to redirect it to cybersecurity? And you made mention of something about the institutions. I want to ask, do you think Nigeria as a whole, and then different institutions like the bank and all that, do you think we're really aware of cybersecurity in Nigeria generally?
Well, I don't think we are ready or aware, like not at least not fully, but I think the banks and the telcos, like the telecommunications companies, are actually taking initiative, because actually they play a vital role to our basic day-to-day living. So they are taking initiative, but I don't think everyone is actually aware and are taking initiative when it comes to trying to prevent themselves from being victims of cyber attacks, like schools, hospitals, and the likes, because everything is actually going into the age of digitalization right now. There are hospitals that store private informations of their patients on a system, like online. You don't have to, they don't have to have a physical record. They can just put it there on their digital archive and just, have a record on it on their system. But I don't think they are actually aware that someday they might be prone to an attack, because
True.
we are, like it or not, if whether we like to mention it or not, we are in a third world country, so they don't actually see the need to want to protect themselves. So I think we are not actually fully ready for cyber attacks or prepared for cyber attacks.
Thank you so much for that. We'll take a short break and then we'll continue on this conversation. Do stay with us.
Talking about South and the North, you talk about middle belt. Currently in Nigeria, we don't have middle belt. North Central is what we have. And they are included in the North. If the perception is because Nigeria is standing on a tripod, you have Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, they are the owners of Nigeria. That is a very wrong perception. These are major tribes in Nigeria. Simple.
Yeah.
Nigeria is owned by every single citizen of this country.
If you go to civilized nations, they possibly have, stratified their political parties such that those who play at the national level are there. And at the local level, you have other minor political parties playing there. And it gives sense of belonging to every citizen to be able to contest.
And in fact, once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven.
It's okay. It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay.
This is Third Eye Africa TV, exposing crime, savaging the nation.
Thank you for staying with us. This is 360 Youth Dialogue on Third Eye Africa TV. And if you're just joining, you're not late, but we've had a wonderful conversation on cybercrime and cybersecurity. We will continue the conversation with our guest here today, Joshua. And we have said a lot about cybercrime and what makes people, vulnerable and what makes them not aware of the cybercrime ongoing. And I would want us to go more on that, Joshua.
Okay.
What really can you say like makes me, and should I put it, an illiterate when it comes to cybersecurity, like a layman when it comes to cybersecurity? What makes me vulnerable to this attack with my device? What do these hackers see that prompts them to say, oh, this is a potential, victim for cybersecurity?
First of all, we should understand that these attackers are smart, and they can easily spot a victim from a mile away, and they don't just attack. They go through a phase called the reconnaissance phase.
Recurring. Sorry, say again.
Reconnaissance phase.
Okay.
Like,
okay. What's that?
In the process, like it entails trying to get information about the victim.
Okay.
Right before an attack. Not everyone is on social media, but a lot of us are on social media, even our parents. And most of our parents on social media, like sometimes they come to us and be like, what's this? How can I do this? How can I do that? So today in our society, the elderly are the most prone to attacks because they are not, aware. They are not they weren't, born into this modern age and time. So what will make them an easier target is actually what the attacker says. What the attacker says is actually how vulnerable they are due to their age, and they're not being, as young and smart as even people our age still tend to fall for this whole thing. So
despite being tech savvy.
Despite being tech savvy and young, and despite being in this age. So, well, like I said, these attackers, they actually go through a phase where they collect data and everything. And, if you're not aware or know how they function, you easily fall for it. Like sometimes my mom gets to call me and be like, I just got a call that I should give them my bank details and everything. And I'd be like, no, it's a scam, because your bank will not actually ask for your bank details, because they actually put out these things in, like, these policies on writings, that they will never ask for your bank details, your card number and everything. So you getting a call like that, you actually know that that's a scam. And then old people as well, they also tend to, like, the elderly ones in the society, they always tend to their WhatsApp are always, their social media accounts are always hacked, due to the fact that they are not aware of how these attackers, go through the whole attacking process, which is getting their information and all of that. So one thing or mistake we actually make in this part is actually putting ourselves out there too much, like on social media space. Most people just want to talk about a lot, talk about this, talk about that, and while people are actually cheering you, there are others who would want to use that to their advantage. Right? So these attackers, they see all of this and they immediately know that you are prone to an attack. Yeah.
So I was actually thinking, is there like a data space where they go to collect this data, or it's just on your phone?
No. Like, okay, if they want to collect data, right, they actually simulate. If they want to collect some personal data from you, they simulate some attacks, like I said, the phishing attack and everything. From clicking on a link, you can be taken to a platform where you input by yourself, because of you are not aware. You will input these details about yourself, your name, your phone number, everything about yourself. To you are not aware, but to them, they know what they are doing, right? There are attacks on different levels. There are network attacks. There is an attack called man in the middle, when an attacker stays in between the network, like a user communicating from one end and another end, and they stay in the middle to, alter whatever message or information that is being passed across. And then, yes, that's another attack. That's another attack on another level, and it's common with networks.
Okay.
You understand? So there are attacks on different levels, from individual levels to organizational levels. There are various attacks, and I think on the organizational level, staying aware is also key. Like the management organizing programs, awareness programs for their employees, because one little mistake could jeopardize the operation of an organization. Just one. You
One
understand?
little mistake,
Yeah.
like for example, if I get what you're saying, I belong to this organization, and let's say I use this system, and one mistake from me as an employee can actually destabilize the organization.
Yeah, it can. I mean, there are an employee could get an email, stating that it's from his or her boss,
Okay.
and then the email is actually asking for some sensitive information.
Oh, interesting.
You understand? So if this employee is not aware of the situation of things at that point in time, this employee could, just put out this sensitive information, thinking it's his boss, not knowing it's an attacker. And from there, the attacker gets the information. It could be the username and password to the administration system. You understand? From there, the employee gives this password. Maybe the IT guy or whatever probably is not aware. He thinks it's coming from the boss, and then he passes this information like to the attacker, and then from there, it will be like, said that the organization is actually experiencing an attack. So I think on every level, everyone should be aware of how these cyber criminals operate.
What would you rate the awareness, like in Nigeria? Would you say there are awareness programs ongoing to make sure that citizens, organizations, institutions are, coming to the light when it comes to cybersecurity and cybercrime? Because you can't take away cybersecurity and then leave the cybercrime. It has to be cybercrime and cybersecurity. So what's the rate of awareness?
Well, I don't think when it comes to awareness, I don't think the average Nigerian is, aware of how he or she is vulnerable or prone to attacks online. I think everyone just wants to be on social media for the vibes and all. You understand? But being on social media, you're being at risk if you are actually not aware of how these attackers operate. So I don't think there's an awareness, or I don't think we are campaigning enough when it comes to cybersecurity and cybercrime. You understand? Actually, the youths are taking initiative. I think I studied biochemistry in school, right? But right now I'm into cybersecurity. I have certifications, right? And I got to learn about cybersecurity online, like due to personal research, because I was into web design and web development. So I was looking to should I say divulge a bit, or I was looking to get into another profession, tech based, right? And then I was doing my research and everything. A lot of my friends who also studied cybersecurity, they were going into data analysis and everything, and data analysis is pretty common. Like everybody knows about data analysis. So I was like, what could I actually go into to make a difference? And then I found out about cybersecurity, and ever since it's been a tough ride. I won't say it's been a smooth ride. It's been a tough ride because you have to stay aware every time, because there could be a publication about a known vulnerability today, right? And then while you are working on that, there will be another publication of another vulnerability. So it's a continuous effort.
Wow.
You have to keep learning, relearning, learning like every day.
So it's not about just being aware. It has to learn. You have to learn, learn.
Exactly.
So does that mean that cybersecurity or cybercrime is evolving?
Yes, it is. I would say cybercrime is evolving on all fronts. Right now, we have AI, and anybody can get access to the to use AI, right? And these cyber criminals can use AI to simulate attacks. They can just put in a prompt, tell AI what they want, and then AI will carry out this attack.
Interesting.
You understand?
Are you serious?
Yeah. So while they are at it, the ethical hackers or the first incident responders have to be also aware of how to put AI to use to counter these attacks. So cybercrime is evolving like every day, because every day there's something new out there, and right now it's AI. AI is
It's
AI
like the
is a
new
lot.
hacker.
Yeah, the new hacker. You don't have to do much. You don't have to really do
You
much
just
with
tell
AI.
it to put your details and tell it to hack whoever.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
So I can not like I, but a person can like hack an institution just with AI prompt.
Exactly. AI, it makes it simpler and easier.
Interesting.
So it's not as difficult as it used to be. These attackers trying to personally on their own simulate these attacks, right? With the use of AI, it makes it like very, very easy for these guys to just get access to an organization's system or network.
Interesting. That brings me to a point where there's this thing I want you to talk about: terms and condition on the internet space.
Okay.
How can we individual know our digital, as a cybersecurity analyst, how can we know our digital rights and privacy rights? Because when you go to, let's say, a website, we don't really read the whole terms and condition. We just click agree, 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 agree. And then just because we want to use the website or use the service at that point. So how can we really get to understand the full right and privacy conditions of individuals?
Well, in Nigeria, there's actually a body that's puts every organization in check on how user data is being used. The Nigerian Data Protection Commission, right? They actually check every organization at every level on the use and misuse of individual data, and going out of line would actually result to legal consequences, and putting a dent on their reputation. So I think with the NDPR, with the Nigerian Data Protection Commission implementing this act, every organization wants to stay
on track,
right? And then I think before actually agreeing to any user policy, I think we should, I know it's hard, but I think we should try and go through it.
It's long. Sometimes you like keep scrolling,
and it doesn't end.
And it doesn't end till all we do is just agree,
and then sometimes I do it. Like, I do it.
So it's not just us.
No, it's not just I do it too sometimes. But lately, I've been trying to exercise patience and get to go through every user policy as it pertains to the service I'm requiring or requesting at that point in time. You understand? So that's what I think everyone should actually do.
So a very small thing like going through the terms and conditions, taking your time to actually read through the terms and condition and knowing really what you're agreeing to before clicking agree to use the service of whatever internet
Exactly.
service you're.
And when we actually do that, it shows that you're aware of whatever will happen if an organization doesn't hold up to the end of their own bargain. You understand? Because I think most organizations are nonchalant when it comes to protecting personal information of users, because they know that their users do not actually have the time to go through all of this. So they just want to do what they like, or should I say just act or just be nonchalant about the whole thing. But if individuals get to know about their rights when it comes to organizations securing their data and everything, I think the organizations actually want to stand up to
Protecting, really.
to protecting user data and personal informations, because when they don't do that, an individual could sue. You understand?
Interesting.
Yeah, an individual could sue, and then it's on the organization's part. It then results to financial impact, because when an individual sue or multiple individuals sue due to data manhandling, it could lead to a lot of financial loss on the organization's part.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Talking about suing and a lot of data breaches, just of late we heard that they've been, was it like 60 or a large number, I can't really remember the number per se now, that they've been a data breach, and which is the largest so far. Can people like an organization like Google and then Apple really have this problem? How much more our financial institution, how much more other mere institution and us individual? So what really is your take on this?
Well, any organization, whether big or small, are prone to attacks, especially when you provide a service. Especially when you provide a service, right? Attackers want to, get the information of individuals, or sometimes act like these individuals, use their information and get access to whatever service you're offering. Let's take for instance banks and financial institutions, right? A particular individual can be banking with this particular financial institution, and then he or she is being involved in an attack, and their personal information could be used to gain access to whatever, let's say, the funds and everything of the person in the bank, right? So most times these banks, they like I said, in Nigeria, banks are actually taking initiative, because I mean, the basic most of the times the basic aim of a cyber attacker is to financial gain. That's one of
Very true.
that's one of the most common motivation for any attacker. So banks are actually taking initiative to beef up their security system. You understand? They are sometimes when you're setting up your mobile app, you actually go through a process. They want to you actually go through the multi-factor authentication process, where they ask you for your password, and then after your password they ask you to verify using your biometrics, right?
Okay.
So
Your
let's say
biometrics, like your thumbprint.
thumb or your facial metrics.
Okay.
Let's say the attacker gains access using your password. There might be some sort of unusual activities going on within the platform. The bank detects it and they lock it.
Okay.
You understand? So they will actually request before giving you access to that particular function again. They will tell you to come to the bank to actually prove that it was you trying to, initiate a transaction or something like that. You understand? So I think the banks are actually taking initiative. Then the telecommunications companies, services too, they're actually taking initiative. But apart from that, I don't think other sectors are actually, putting
more
efforts towards securing themselves and staying aware of cyber attacks and cybercrime.
Very true. There's one, I don't know if I should call it funny, but a lot of people have complained that most government agencies, their websites are just plain and basic and very not active. And I heard another complaint that why that is because of they don't want to put so much information out there. They don't want to be so active on the website, on the internet, to avoid being attacked. But regardless, like you said, awareness. I want us to come back just before we call this a close. I want us to come back to those simple things, like you mentioned, as little as making your password an 8-character with an uppercase, a number, or a...
You learned something new.
Yes, I learned something new.
Yeah.
So what other simple thing that is being ignored by, mere individuals that can secure them from cyber attacks?
Well,
and I want you to note, be it financial, social media hack and all that, cyber attack at large.
Okay. Well, some of the things I think an individual should do to secure themselves, putting multi-factor authentication to use, making sure that your data, whether on your devices or whatever, are secured, and not just that's called defense in depth, right? Whereby after a password, you have to go further to prove that it's you, using your biometrics and all of that. You understand? Those are like the two basic ways an individual could secure themselves online.
So as little as,
your password
and
using
multi-factor authentications.
Yes.
For like WhatsApp and all that is like two-step verification.
Two-step verification,
what they
yes,
call.
on WhatsApp. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So as little as doing these simple things, we can actually scale through cyber attacks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joshua Obeni, for your time.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. And I've learned a lot. I hope you, the viewers, have learned a lot from this conversation here on 360U Dialogue. Don't forget, security is every man's business. It starts from you and it starts from me. Be informed, stay informed, and be safe. Thanks for watching. My name is Juliet Ora. Bye for now.